In the last segment, I spoke with the New Jersey mother of three. She was removed from her leadership role in her Girl Scout troop after speaking out against the LGBT activism in the organization. Now, when you hear stories like that, it makes you wonder, what should you do for your daughter? Well, there are alternatives out there, and I want to highlight one for you now. Joining me now is Patti Garibay, founder and executive director emeritus at American Heritage Girls. Patti, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Casey. It's good to be with you today.
I'm glad you're here because I think some people may have known, but I had no idea how bad this Girl Scout problem was. You know, I have this document in front of me, and it reads like a Berkeley intersectionality paper. Some of the things that are training for these Girl Scout leaders. You started in the Girl Scouts. Can you tell us about how you came out of that, and has it always been this bad?
You know, I was a Girl Scout leader for 9 years back in the 90s. And in 1993 was my final straw that said no more, because the Girl Scouts had changed the Girl Scout promise that as you had mentioned earlier in your segment, that said that no longer did you have to make an oath to God. Well, when we kick God out of a character development program, what will the moral foundation be? It will be whatever the culture is saying. And so that's what we're seeing today. So this has been going on for a long time. American Heritage Girls, we started it in 1995, celebrating 30 years of ministry that is very much like the Girl Scouts without the woke DEI agenda, and that honors God like the founders of Girl Scouts really intended.
Yeah, I mean, when you take God out, it creates a vacuum. And I love the way you put it, that the vacuum is filled by culture. And nowadays, culture is not a very reliable arbiter of truth or even common sense. Am I making too much of this? Can you give us some specifics on how bad is the Girl Scouts gotten these days? And how is American Heritage Girls different and better?
I can't even create a large enough label of warning to parents about the Girl Scouts. I cannot yell it from the rooftops loud enough. It is a dangerous place, particularly if you are someone who wants to raise up their child in the way they should go with biblical worldview. This is not for biblical worldview people. As a matter of fact, you're uninvited according to their camp culture codes, which is a code of conduct that is used by all the counselors. They don't just want you to respect LGBTQ. They want you to become an ally with LGBTQ, which is therefore getting rid of Christian values and dishonoring God's plan. So this is such a dangerous organization. From buying cookies to allowing your daughter to be in a troop to even going camping, it gives me chills. Now, you knew this had to be pretty bad if a mom of four thought that she should start something new to compete with the Girl Scouts.
You're a little busy.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, you're a little busy, mom of four. I mean, you took on this whole thing, but it's been a huge success. It's been going for decades now. Here's another thing. I mentioned the asterisk on God, right? So that they could, you see God is kept in the materials, but then you read into it and, they expand the definition. But it's not just God that has an asterisk. It's girl. And one of the things that I found in the Girl Scouts training materials, and they vary by region, I think. So I was looking at different versions, but is that when you're addressing a room of Girl Scouts, you cannot say, "Hey, girls," that would be off limits. Is that familiar? I mean, how can you lead Girl Scouts if you don't know what a girl is, Patti?
Well, it's just as confusing as any pronoun for the wrong sex person. It's very difficult to maneuver. And I don't know how any parent that has discernment around this can even be part of the Girl Scouts. Trust me, it is not your mother's Girl Scouts. This is not the tradition I grew up with. This was not what my mother led me in. This is totally different. So beware, and know that you have alternatives. American Heritage Girls is just that. We offer all the high adventure and the exciting activities, plus leadership, plus service to others, all within a biblical world lens. And that is actually, we're chartered with churches. This is not Sunday school. This is experiential learning where belonging is part of it and making friends, but growing up side by side, raising each other's arms in this difficult culture to raise up the way we should go and to raise up our girls in the way they should go.
Right. And how can we learn more? I mean, are you in all 50 states or most states? People are listening and say, okay, enough about Girl Scouts. What about the American Heritage Girls? How can we get connected?
Right. American Heritage Girls have troops all over the country, all 50 states, 16 international countries. Visit our website at AmericanHeritageGirls.org. That's ahgonline.org or AmericanHeritageGirls.org, or tune in to our podcast 3 times a week, Raising Godly Girls with American Heritage Girls.
Raising Godly Girls. Who doesn't want that? That's a great name. Patti, thank you for joining us. Founder and Executive Director Emeritus at American Heritage Girls. Some really important work. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Casey.